Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of 31-year-old Henry McCabe from Mounds View, Minnesota, who disappeared on September 7th after a night of drinking with a few friends. Now there is a lot of information on this case, and there's also a voicemail that I'm pretty sure a lot of you already are aware of. Most people have only heard a few seconds of this voicemail though, as most places that have a clip will only let you hear a small piece of it. And I'm going to link to a video that not only has most of the information about this case already in it, but it also has the entire voicemail clip of about 2 minutes long, and it's from the Missing Enigma channel, and you'll find a link in the description and in the pinned comment below. The very short version of the story, if you don't want to go watch the other video, is that he went drinking with some friends. He made a call to his wife and they were arguing over the phone, and a third person was called by the wife during this call, and that person did not answer, but their voicemail recorded a part of the conversation, if you could call it that, because there isn't really much words you can hear. There is some words in there. I can't decipher what is being said. Mostly though, it's some very unusual noises and screaming and grunting and all these weird, disturbing sounds. And one of his friends dropped off at a gas station. After that, nobody was able to contact him anymore, and 2 months later he was found dead in a lake about 6 miles from where he was last seen. From what I heard, the coroner said that there was no signs on the body itself of there being foul play, but they did find a lot of alcohol in the system, and there may have been more alcohol in the system on the time of the demise. But as of yet, we don't know who did anything to him, if anybody did anything to him, or what happened, and that is why we're doing a tarot reading today. We're starting off with the Santa del Muerte deck, which is on the table right now. And for any further questions, moving on to the Deviant Moon, which is this one. As per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck. As soon as I have about a screen full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, we are starting off with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, and the Six of Cups upright. Okay, so the first thing I noticed about this Ace of Pentacles over here is this little cricket sitting on top of its head. And it kind of gives me the impression that they tried something new. They tried to strike out in a new direction, and they received crickets for their efforts. And in particular, a particular Queen of Swords was not appreciative of that initiative that they were trying to take. Then it's followed by the Six of Cups, so it's calling back to something in the past. So he may have decided on a new course of action, and somebody who's probably pretty close to him because of the Six of Cups is not happy with that, and they may have started to think about this. I think this is more of a stewing in the background type of action. So he upset somebody with something that he did, which probably did not end up well. We could be looking at, for instance, an investment that went sour, or some type of business opportunity that they tried to get involved with that did not go well, and this did not sit well, and that pushed the Queen of Swords to kind of start plotting, almost, at least start thinking negatively about him in the background. And it's something to do with their past. So something in their past was brought up by that. And with the next card we have here is the Ace of Swords. We have a new initiative. I think this is the initiative of the Queen of Swords. Possibly the result of their plotting. Could be a female, could be a male. The Queen of Swords, of course, is just somebody who is now being represented by that energy. And it is a shrewd and calculating energy. We see the Ace of Swords, like I said, and followed by the Wheel of Fortune in reverse and Judgment. Okay, so the new plan is being put into action quite literally. The wheels are starting to turn with this Wheel of Fortune, and it's in reverse, so this is not going to be in his favor. For a moment there, I kind of thought that this skull was crying somehow, but that's just because the bottom part of the skull is silver, but it kind of looked like there were tears going down her face, in particular because the sword itself has these two tracks going down. So this is more of a plan that they probably knew was not going to make them very happy, and by them I mean Henry, because I think this is a plan against them. Like I said, the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse, so wheels are turning and it's not going to be good. And in particular, this Judgment card here. Like normally Judgment is people being brought out of the grave, and it's like the final day that you've been waiting for, and everybody's going to be, I don't know, living eternally in happiness and all that sort of good stuff. But here I'm mostly drawn to look at the people that are kind of lording over the coffin. And it's more like they've come to mete out judgments rather than salvation, that type of thing. So they may be people that were contacted as a result of this plan being put in action. They've been put in this position due to the Wheel of Fortune turning. Like the pawns have been placed, that type of deal. And they are now focusing on Henry, who may actually be represented by the person coming out of the coffin here, thinking that they may have found the way out of something. But they're probably not going to like what happens next. At least they appear to be happy, while the others are kind of looming overhead, kind of ominously. So that's not good. So they may have been called into action, these people, and against Henry, because the star here is in reverse, followed by the Nine of Swords in reverse, and then we have the Empress. Okay. Now the Empress is actually kind of interesting to me in this regard because they are kind of hiding behind that fan. So it looks to me as though, even though their star is dropping from the sky, which I usually take as either they're losing their lights or they're losing their luster, people are not as happy with them as before, kind of like the Six of Wands in reverse. There is a lot of worry and anxiety going on in the background. We do see here this Empress who is kind of pretending to be caring, because the Empress is normally somebody who cares for you. But I think, particularly because I was drawn to look at how she's hiding behind the fan and pretending that everything's fine, that they're just kind of like play acting, and they're just kind of trying to keep Henry calm in this regard. Even though there is a lot going on underwater, as you can see here with the star, it's kind of like above the water, everything is fine and bright, but below we have tons of skeletal fish and things you might want to see. In any case, it's pretty drab and not good. So I think that they're just trying to keep everything looking as though it's bright and cheery. But in the meantime, things are definitely not going well. And I think the next card is Henry becoming aware of what's happening, because we have the Nine of Cups in reverse, which is definitely not feeling pretty good about yourself, because normally Nine of Cups is like being really happy with yourself in particular, just being independently happy. Your emotions are, everything's going well, emotions are high and that sort of thing, but it's in reverse. So I think that he's now become aware that there's this switch here, because we had up until this point everything's fine, don't worry, and now it's like, oh no, there's definitely something going on. The next thing that we have here is the Hierophant, which is a call to a higher power. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. So we're maybe trying to bargain with somebody. And let me grab these three. So like I said, he's not feeling great about himself at the moment. The lock has come off the chest. I'm thinking that whatever has been kept hidden for some time is now like popped open. Everything is streaming out. The Hierophant is coming in to lay down the law, but more in a church type sense, and not like a law of the land, but more of a law of a certain culture or just a certain group that you're in. And the Four of Pentacles shows somebody being lowered to the bank. Maybe to rob it, I don't know, but it's kind of like somebody, a higher power, is pushing them to make certain financial decisions. I do believe that he was withdrawing money at some point during the last night that he was seen. Otherwise, I might be misremembering, but I thought I heard something about that. In any case, his wallet was turned in. He didn't have it on him anymore. So I'm feeling somebody is trying to push him to give up whatever he can, and they're not great decisions because normally Four of Pentacles is trying to create some type of balance in your resources, but this is more like the balance is thrown completely up on its head, and it's being pushed on you by somebody who is much more powerful and much more in control than you are. So we're seeing somebody really coming for him, and a group of people actually, according to Judgment over there. Now, I'm thinking that we are currently timeline-wise on the night of his disappearance. Let's see what happens next. Okay, that's a lot going on, but this one came first. The Two of Wands. So, trying to make plans to go other places. Let me just grab everything over here. There's a whole stack of cards here. I think we're going to be, these are probably going to be the final cards for the reading because there's at least 6 or 7. Anyway, so Two of Wands, trying to make plans to go someplace. Trying to also call upon things that they have been growing for some time. Looking at the drop on the tree as well, I think this may also be a call to some type of connection, like maybe saying like, hey, we're related, or aren't you the second cousin removed from this person that I'm also related to? Something trying to call upon a family tree, maybe, to try and get some type of leeway with people to try and talk his way out of trouble. Oh, here we are. That's the one I was talking about. Six of Wands in reverse. He's definitely not able to get anywhere with that story because they are not buying it at all. He's lost whatever renown he may have had in their eyes, whatever respect he may have had. So he's not able to talk his way out of it. We have here a King of Cups. All right, so somebody who is pretty good at manipulating people if he wanted to. Maybe somebody who did have some type of positive feeling, or at least some positive intention overall, but maybe also coming from a point of view of it just has to be this way because otherwise there would be too much upset, that type of thing. Because the next card that I see here is the Ace of Cups in reverse, so they're definitely planning something, and that's why I'm thinking that it might be somebody who may have initially been benign, but just doing things that aren't benign at all, because the Ace of Cups is in reverse. So that is the possibility lost that he could have maybe had a positive connection with somebody that would have led somewhere positive for Henry. We have the Seven of Wands, which is in reverse. Normally it is a coming for your position card, and I'm thinking that in this case it mostly says there's nothing for us to want from you anymore. Like we've got everything we want, we got everything we need. You can say what you want and do what you want, but we're not going to give in because you have nothing for us that is of interest. So there's that. Then we have the Knight of Wands. Somebody is making some rash actions, and the Page of Wands in reverse. Okay. So we have some rash actions here, but I'm not really sure who is taking them. This may actually be Henry themselves trying some last-ditch efforts in order to get out of this, and both the Knight and the Page can be pretty head over heels, and particularly the Page is very gung-ho, I guess you would say, like just trying anything. Like initially they had a decent plan to do something because the Knight of Wands is more mature than the Page, but when that failed, because it is in reverse, we have the Page of Wands, and it's kind of like he's going down the line of maturity in ways of energies in the wand suit. Like normally you would build your way up as you become more mature and more wise, but I think desperation led Henry to taking less and less effective steps and actions. as the night progressed. Okay, I thought I had enough cards for the rest of the reading, but I don't think so. So we're gonna go and get some more. So he is currently just trying to fight his way out, I guess. If you look at the stages of the grief or something, we've had the bargaining, and now we're arguing and fighting. Let's see what else we can get. What happens next? Okay, there's a whole stack here, but we're not going to do all of them. Let's see what we do need, though. That one. And those two. Alright, this one came first. Page of Pentacles, yep. After we're done fighting, we're actually pleading. This is more pleading. Like, bargaining was over here. We're pleading now. Pleading for our lives. Also not effective. And then we have the Four of Cups, which is always an energy of, well, it doesn't really matter what I do. So this may be the acceptance phase if you're still going through that list of phases. It kind of looks like we are. So now he's kind of given up. And then we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Alright, so this is somebody who is normally very practical. I think this is somebody else. And they're like, okay, we're done. We've done everything we needed to. This comes to an end now. And let's just go ahead and finish this type of thing. Going back to the Santa Marta for the last cards, I think. So at this point, we're seeing that Henry's luck has come to an end. He's tried everything so far, and nothing has worked. And now this King of Pentacles is stopping in to call it quits, I suppose. Three of Swords. Okay. So now we have a bit of mess here. Like, he may become aware. I'm looking at the bottom skeleton in particular, who is holding a sword in his hands, like just really studying it, while somebody else is putting two blades through his back. Kind of like becoming aware of the fact that he's been double-crossed, I think. He may now see that the people whom he thought he may have had a connection to over here with the Seven of Pentacles, they were never his all along. Maybe somebody was on the inside. Like, I'm thinking that these people are people that he definitely had connections with in the past. May not have been the best of connections, but he had them. Oh, here we have the Magician. Earlier I thought we had it, but that was the Hierophant. But now we have the Magician. And I guess they are now becoming more and more aware of the fact that they just can't do anything. And maybe they were never able to do anything at all. I think these two in particular are pointing towards it was all a lie. Everything in the past, all the interactions, there's always something going on in the background that I was not made aware of, and therefore I couldn't have actually done anything because there was just nothing that I could have done in secret without them knowing, and they would have always been able to step in and prevent me from succeeding, I think. Okay, couple cards. Justice and the Hanged Man. Okay, so I'm thinking that this is justice being carried out. It may not be the justice that we would understand. I'm guessing that the cards are calling for a Hanged Man perspective, like looking at it from a different point of view. And they may be trying to, or at least thinking this way about themselves, the perpetrators in this case, like, okay, from their point of view, what they're doing is right, and therefore we shouldn't actually judge them too harshly, because if you were in their shoes, we'd do the same thing, that type of thing. I think that's what these two cards are saying. And let's see, are we ever going to see them being brought to justice, though? Because that's their justice that we're looking at, but we have a different justice system in different places of the world, I think, or at least in different circles of society. Are we ever going to find out who did it? Is somebody ever going to go to jail? Let's see. Temperance in reverse and the Seven of Cups. Okay, so we have somebody losing their temper and we have somebody wishful thinking here on the end. I think eventually somebody who is involved in this is going to literally lose their temper, lose their patience, just kind of let something fly and then wish that they hadn't, because we have the Seven of Cups on the right. Is this kind of a moment where you do something stupid and you're like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. It's not possible to take it back, but if only I could step back in time a few seconds and undo all of that. So I think somebody is eventually going to talk, do something that's going to out them as the perpetrator, or at least connected, or that they know who the perpetrators are, and they're going to regret that heavily. So we may eventually find out who's involved, what was actually going on. If you watch the video, you know that there's a lot of stuff playing in the background, a lot of information there to be had. So there's lots of moving parts, and I think one of those moving parts is probably going to end up moving in the wrong direction and then spilling the beans. That is what I think I'm seeing here. And I hope you found that interesting. Make sure to leave a comment or a like. That really helps the channel along. If you'd like to subscribe, that's also really nice. In any case, hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.